Hello there and welcome to episode 2 of Studs Up with talkSPORT and of course talkSPORT Bet as well. So wherever you are right now, you're on the train, you're at home, make yourself a cup of tea, make yourself a coffee and strap in for an hour of riveting chat. And I say riveting chat because to my left is of course once again we welcome back David Bentley. How are you, sir?
Last week it was legend.
I know, you got to drop that out. You can't do that every week.
Famous podcast.
Where's your mug?
Yeah, you started really high.
You
started really high. This is the problem.
Yeah, that's
sort of gone down.
Yeah. Do you know what? And expect it to get less and less.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
but you just don't care.
I don't care. No, the star factor's worn off a little bit, Ben. So I'm
very needy. I'm very needy.
Are you needy? Are you?
I'm more needy than Rory. He's very needy.
Which is
the Miami boy. Look,
I wish.
Which is the perfect way to say Rory Jennings joins us as well. How are you, sir?
Yeah,
you good?
Yeah, good. Really good. Lots going on, isn't there? So much football to get stuck into.
Yeah, let's talk about the football and let's talk about those predictions last week, shall we? Because look, the elephant in the room is Ben Scott. Here he is. Look, Christ the Redeemer. He is off to an absolute flyer. 3-pointer because you predicted the draw between Arsenal and City, didn't you?
I did. I went for 2-2, but I felt it was going to be that way. Obviously, Man City made a little bit of a sort of comeback with Guardiola, sort of revitalising what they do. Couldn't predict the game plan. No, I mean they are a completely different team.
We'll get into that.
To what they were before. But I felt, obviously, with my years of experience and my great knowledge of the game, working under the superstars of people like Wenger, obviously it gives me a distinct advantage against you two.
But you got the insight.
But at the minute, sitting top of the table, I am really excited. Now, if I'd have got 2-2, would that have been a bonus point as well?
I think we'd have bought you some Haribos or something
would
that.
you?
Yeah.
There's a lot this week. There's a lot of change here. I'm feeling it because I'm sitting top of the league.
It's Haribos, Krispy Kremes, that kind of stuff. If you get a score prediction as well. But saying that, me and Rory blanked, didn't we?
I got it so wrong.
But I mean, I said it would be a draw and it was 2-1, and I felt like I was waiting for that Everton equaliser to come. It never came. Rory. Let's talk through it. You said it was going to be 4-0 to Chelsea. You said it was Ruben. He went studs up on Amrin last week, Ben, as well. He said, in fact, you almost convinced me that I shouldn't be backing my own manager. That's how compelling that argument was.
I agreed with your
you did?
Amrin assessment last week, but I'm actually I'm on his, I think I'm on his side. I let Rory talk it, but I'm actually I've done a bit of research into his back and gone back and I'm.
Talk to me about how it went.
I made a massive mistake. Because do you know what I did? I allowed the sort of tribalism of being a football fan to infiltrate my decision making. What I needed to do was actually analyse who Chelsea are, actually analyse who Enzo Maresca is, actually analyse what our performances have been like this season, regardless of factoring in Manchester United. And I didn't do that, but I learned from it. It's important. Sometimes it takes out defeat. Do you remember what happened to Antonio Conte? We went to Arsenal with 3-0 down at half-time. Suddenly, bang, he learnt something new and he approached the rest of the season in a different way.
And that's where you are now.
This is me, Antonio Conte.
Well, do you know what? I have to say,
very similar.
Yeah. I have to say, right, you got me thinking about Manchester United.
With a moody Barney.
You got me thinking about Manchester United. You got me thinking about how, we were basically relegation fodder last season.
Yes.
You ripped me off, and I had to mark the occasion, Rory. The fact that, we beat the world champions, didn't we?
Oh, yes.
So I've just got a little bit of memorabilia here. Just for,
what are you up
what's
to?
going on here?
Just doing a striptease.
You've got the badge in the middle of your shirt.
Oh, hello.
So it says, I was alive. Let's move this, shall we? It says, I was alive when Manchester United beat the Club World Champions. So here it is, and it's dated as well. And what I'll do is I'll give that to you at the end of the podcast.
Shows you how the mighty have fallen, because I was alive when Manchester United were world champions.
Exactly. Well, you got me thinking with relegation fodder. So here we are. I was alive when Manchester United beat Chelsea. You like that?
I do like that. I like that you've gone to that.
That trouble, commitment.
I
rate it.
It's like the trouble Chelsea have gone to with their, the big world champion sort of gold badge with no sponsor.
It's not every day.
They've really. It's very similar.
They've gone in. It's not every day you beat the world champs, is it, Rory?
So you're going to embrace it. You're going to enjoy it.
This is the highest I've felt in 12 years.
Yeah, it's going to be a crash back down to earth, because the sad thing from your perspective, but even worse from mine, is beating us in the way that you did tells you very little about you and everything about who we are.
Well, I agree with that. I'm not going to lie. We're going to preview some of the games at the end. The early kickoff against Brentford is massive. But this leads us perfectly. who are you going studs up on this week? We do this reoccurring thing, of course, where you're going to go two-footed on somebody, and I'm sure there's a few to choose from. Who are you going to go for?
Do you know who I'm going to go? I've been giving this the due diligence that it deserves, and just to let everybody know, I'm aware that Maresca is a real candidate for this. But the reason that I'm not going to go Maresca is because he is limited. He is average. He is distinctly average. We plucked him off the bench of a championship club, and he effectively is a championship manager. So I don't feel, true,
exactly.
True,
well said.
But I don't feel like punching him while he's down is necessarily needed because everybody knows what he's like. The person that I think is well worthy of discussion here is Mikel Arteta.
Oh, well, that's you going in on, yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah, I am because I've tipped Arsenal to win the league for the past 3 years. I felt like they were the best team, and I felt like Mikel Arteta's team this year have been given everything that they need. You know, we'd spoken in the past about not being good enough at the back. If Saliba got injured, suddenly Mosquera's at the club and he looks brilliant. We've spoken about the lack of creativity, perhaps stifling what they can do going forward. Suddenly they bring in Eberechi Eze, one of the best players in the league, in my opinion. Beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
They don't have enough goals in the team. They signed the most prolific goal scorer in Europe. I feel like he's now got everything. The one thing that he doesn't have, it's bravery. Like, I know when I use this word, it's emotional and people get annoyed when you use it, but I'm afraid I am using it and it is completely accurate. Mikel Arteta is a coward. He is a coward in a footballing context. There's no two ways about it.
What do you mean, though, when you say he's a coward? Like, what can you pinpoint? Yeah,
no, worse than a bottler. Worse than a bottler. He doesn't necessarily have to get in the lead to throw it away. He is too scared to get into the lead, particularly when you're Arsenal. Like, Arsenal are a huge club. I'm not having a pop at who they are in like the pantheon of great clubs or where they rank in the skyline across Europe or whatever. Huge club. But they haven't won a league for over 2 decades. So when you win a league...
Well, the last time they won one...
You're about to tell me you were in the side.
I was there.
There it is.
I can't believe Arsenal. I can't believe Arsenal ain't won nothing since
you were there.
I think it shows what a positive effect it must have had on the football club.
Mate, there you go. Yeah, there you go. They lose you, they lose it all. But you think about what that means. They haven't won it for 2 decades.
Yeah.
To win a league, and I truly believe this is the case, particularly if you're the challenger. It's like being a boxer. You're the boxer and you're fighting a world champ. You've got to knock him out. If you're the challenger, which Arsenal are, they have to go and they have to claim a title. They have to go to Anfield and they have to win. They have to get those statement results. Sometimes it's not even about the 3 points. Think of every big league win from a challenger. Chelsea. We won our first league title for 50 years. We went to the Invincibles. We went to the home of Arsenal. We went to Highbury just before Christmas. We beat them 2-0. Joe Cole, Arjen Robben slapping Sol Campbell all over the place. You go and you claim a title. What did Man City do when they went and claimed a title? They beat Man United 6-1, won the league on goal difference. Yeah. Think of every big league title win. It often involves going, being brave, making a statement and winning against your biggest rivals. And I think Mikel Arteta on both occasions has been really cowardly in the way that he's approached the game, his team selection, his tactic, everything.
Wow. Okay, so are you kind of alluding to the fact that he's not going to be the man to lead Arsenal to a Premier League? Do they need to pivot?
I didn't think that, but I'm beginning to think it. Do you know, I think it's important to acknowledge I gave him so much credit. I truly believed, and this shows you quite how serious a football club he's made Arsenal. 6 months ago, I thought they were going to win the European Cup. I had to start rationalising how I will live in a world where they are the European champions. And that was because of Arteta's contribution. He did very well.
Yeah.
But this year, I feel like he is terrified. And I think his team selection shows it. He's playing cloggers. He's got some of the most creative footballers in the world. They're all sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
He isn't ready to go and win a title. He's trying to not lose a title.
So he's not the man?
I'm beginning to think that he's not the man.
What do you think, Bence? I mean, I know it's always two-footed take, but is he the man?
Well, he's right. He is, to a certain degree, right in your assessment there because, you know, you look at the game, he's not taking it to Man City. You know, Man City were vulnerable and he started with his most creative players on the bench. I don't think now in the modern game, the way it is, you can't be pragmatic. You can't go into games. You'll be a solid sort of unit and then move forward as a team and score goals. Reliance on individual brilliance like the old days. I don't think there's much of that in the game. There's certain times that they can do that. But as a team, you've got to be set up to go. He's very tactical, like the game is now.
Yeah.
And he, you know, the managers are now playing a pivotal role. Whether I agree with that or not, I think there has to be, you have to put your best players on the pitch like Eze and so on. But if they're sat on the bench, it showcases tactically where he is. And the teams are so drilled and the modern players are so drilled that Arteta and the management team have to take a a big role in why they haven't got the win. But to win the Premier League, you have to every week go out and you have to have a positive mindset.
Yeah.
More so than ever, that you have to, as a team, you have to go out and win the games.
Yeah, there's no value in a draw anymore.
No,
back in the day, you'd have a good point here and there.
Yeah.
That's kind of gone. You're going to need well over 90 points to win a league this year, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I honestly believe, we'll never know the answer to this, but I honestly believe that if Arsenal started their best team, they would have won the game. Arsenal only played their best team for 45 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That makes absolutely no sense. They are playing a Man City team, a vulnerable Man City team, a Man City team that they battered 5-1 last year in the corresponding fixture, and they haven't started their best team. They haven't played their best side.
Yeah.
Like, it's mind-blowingly bad management.
Especially at home as well. And you see that sort of, when have we ever seen a Pep Guardiola team sort of play such a low block? He was making substitutions with defensive players. It was unbelievable.
It was weird, that was such an interesting dynamic in that game. It's kind of, we kind of saw sides to both managers that we've never seen before. It was really weird.
But Guardiola resorting to that, doesn't that demonstrate that Mikel Arteta could have won the game?
Yeah.
If he had started Eze or Saka, do you know the thing that seems to be like really in vogue at the moment, and I don't know where it's come from? You know this like ridiculous concept of starters versus finishers.
Yeah.
Like, that isn't what it is. It's starters and substitutes. You start your best team. Your best team need to be on the pitch at the beginning. Go 1-0 up, go 2-0 up, then make your moves.
Yeah.
But this idiot concept of starters and finishers that I think's been borrowed from rugby. I think it's like it's infiltrating the game in a terrible way with terrible consequences.
Yeah.
It does showcase that Pep Guardiola and the limitations that run Man City at the minute as well, and maybe the trust in the players to get the job done. You think that they're not dominating games the way they were. They've gone away to Arsenal and really sort of just put 11 men behind the ball.
Team, don't
you?
Yeah. You know,
Arsenal,
whenever you were playing big games, you start your best team.
Yeah.
You don't need to be like a footballing sage to think that. You don't need to have played 100 games for England to think that. You start your best team.
Yeah.
Sometimes football can be very complex, but other times it can be easy. Yeah. And people that flag, like substitute, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer done this off the bench, or Gareth Bale done this off the bench in a Champions League final. You're like, yeah. But 9 times out of 10, you start your best team, and you will benefit from doing that.
Do you know what's funny about that? I mean, obviously, we ask you to go for continuity's sake. By the way, if anyone's watching, my jumper's back on.
No, we both got jumpers.
Embarrassing.
Lovely cable knits about.
No, they are.
We're not doing too bad. Do you know what? I know we've asked you to go studs up there, but I think there'll probably be a lot of Arsenal fans, or at least a pocket of the fan base, that agree with you on that one. I really do think that. Just judging on what I've seen on social media and things like that. I think so.
I find, particularly online, I'm not talking about the season ticket holder in the clock end or the more rational fans around the world. My experience of Arsenal fans are online are that they do not agree with this at all.
Yeah.
They do not. They insulate their manager from all criticism. I might be wrong here, but my experience is that they do not.
Well, it's gonna get to a point where the tide has to turn. Arsenal fans are going to have to at one point look at Arteta and say, right, we're going to have to give you at least a time frame, because there's been no trophy in so many years.
They will not win the league this year. With 5 games into a season, do you not think that that's an appalling thing that I can say with full confidence? Like, I truly believe that Arsenal already, not only because of the points on the board, but because of the approach in the big games. They went to Anfield, they waved the white flag. They welcomed City, and they picked the most negative team and only picked their best team for 45 minutes because they were 1-0 down. It's bad management and bad approach.
You could probably go in studs up on both Man City and Arsenal. I mean, the way they've approached the game and negativity across the board. Yeah. You can see there's no positivity there, but from Arteta's point of view, Man City are probably for the first time in the last 10 years are a team that are there for the taking. Especially at home. You have to play your best players. You've got Rodri that's just coming back of being out for a
whole
year.
Season,
you look around the whole squad, even though they've had a little bit of a jump up in recent weeks, they're not at the level. If they come into your home stadium, you're looking at your team, you're looking at the players that you signed, you've got to go into that game positive and go out there, take it by the scruff of the neck, take the 3 points and move on.
Arsenal are better than City.
Yeah,
Arteta has been waiting for 3 years to be in a position where his team are better than Pep Guardiola's. They finally get to a position where his team are better, and he doesn't play the players that are better.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, and that was a worthy take. Amorim last week felt worthy at the time. He's ended up being vindicated, but who knows? That could be a good take. I'm going to move you on to a topic here that has been dominating social media, absolutely dominating it, for quite rightly. Ballon d'Or, and rather the state of the Ballon d'Or at the moment. I'll throw it out there, and I'll throw it to you, Bence. Dembele, would you say he's a worthy winner?
I think in the modern game, the way we assess things based on stats, based on what he's won, probably a worthy winner. But if he's the showpiece and the showman that is out there, the inspiration to like young generation, and you look at the past versus past winners of Zidane, Ronaldinho, Messi, Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo and so on, he is not in the same league.
No.
He is a modern... I think he started scoring goals from January. I think he had a poor start to the season. He's playing in the French league. Obviously, great tactics from Enrique playing in the team. He's adjusted himself and knuckled down, got the stats, got the numbers. But as a showcase, it's showcasing something within the game that
is missing.
Is missing.
What is that, Rory? What is that's missing? Well, first of all, you have the same wavelength, and what could that be?
Yeah, it's a ludicrous shout to give it to Ousmane Dembele. I mean, quite frankly, he's just not the best footballer in the world.
Who are you giving it to?
You can't be the best footballer in the world if you aren't competing in the best league in the world. If you aren't playing in one of the best leagues in the world, I'm afraid that you cannot be the best footballer in the world. And when Ousmane Dembele was competing in one of the best leagues in the world, he made a pig's ear of it. So I don't really think that it's fair. I can understand why he got it. The trophy haul is incredibly impressive.
The Champions League probably adds that, irrespective of the league he plays in domestically, adds that extra layer where you go, domestic treble, Champions League in there.
David's point about him not starting particularly well at the beginning of the season is also very relevant. And I'm afraid sometimes it's just a very simple comparison. Sometimes it's just a very simple comparison. Is Ousmane Dembele a better player than Harry Kane? Of course he's not. Is Ousmane Dembele a better player than Mohamed Salah? Of course he's not. Like, he may have won more trophies. He may have had a more glittering season. You can maybe find different metrics to suggest that he deserves it over Kane or Salah, but you're wrong.
Yeah, I think this probably, for me, from when I hear everyone's take on it, I think we're lost about what the criteria is. What is the criteria of winning the Ballon d'Or? Do you have to be the best player? For example, I mean, Haaland finished 30th. Gyökeres was 15th. Now everybody's going, how can that be? Because Haaland's a better striker, but Gyökeres had a better season. And
he didn't.
He scored more goals.
He didn't. He's scoring more goals in a BTEC league.
But
I know somebody who scored 100 goals in a league in Kilburn. It doesn't matter. It's like, it literally doesn't matter.
Goals, though. They were good goals.
Yeah, Northampton Boys Club. You should see it. But you cannot compare somebody who's scoring goals for Bayern Munich, somebody who's scoring goals for Liverpool on the way to guiding them to a title, with somebody who's scoring goals in Portugal. Jay, I'll play a game with you. My mate did this to me. I'm not putting you on the spot.
Go on.
I will suggest that your Gyökeres shout is fair if you can name me 5 Portuguese teams.
Oh, right. Well, we'll move on to the next topic.
See what I mean?
I like games.
See what I mean? It's really
you're
difficult.
right.
No, I hear your point. It is a good point you're making, to be fair.
Yeah. Do you not think that shows certain where we're at with the game of football? That you ask the question, what is a Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
A Ballon d'Or player is obviously technically very gifted. Obviously, comes with winning and his stats are up, but he's probably a Ballon d'Or is an inspirational character, a showcaser, a showman that inspires a generation of people.
Ruud Gullit is a Ballon d'Or winner. Marco van Basten is a Ballon d'Or winner. Lionel Messi is a Ballon d'Or winner. Georgie Weah is a Ballon d'Or winner. Like, this is perhaps the best representation of what we have at the moment, but it's just a sad indictment of where football's gone. Rodri followed by Dembele.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear it. And for the record, I'm with you both. I do agree. Just playing
both
devil's
exceptional
advocate.
players.
Yeah,
but they're good players. They're just good players. I mean, they're good players. They're not going to. They are at the bottom of the table of ever of Ballon d'Or winners, and it just showcases where we are. Yamin Yamal was probably showing.
There's a potential Ballon d'Or.
Too young now, though.
Cole Palmer. I love the way Eberechi plays. I'm not suggesting him for a Ballon d'Or winner, but that's the genre of footballer. The artistry, the majesty, the unpredictable quality, the beautiful goals, the grace on the ball.
Yeah.
That's a footballer.
Yeah.
Like, nobody dreams of being a great system footballer the way that Rodri is.
No.
Like, he's amazing at what he does. Mm-hmm. But he's not an artist. He's not a footballing artist, is he? In the way that Dennis Bergkamp was.
You wouldn't associate a Ballon d'Or winner with Rodri, so I agree. We've talked about the quality that goes throughout the years. You've played with 2 Ballon d'Or winners, haven't you, Bence?
I have.
Let's talk about Modric. Obviously, I mean, just an unbelievable player. But at the stage of the career where you were playing with him, did you see that in him? Did you see there was Ballon d'Or capability in his play?
Well, Modric come in at the time that I signed for Tottenham, so we sort of come into the building at the same time. Obviously, he's very, very small, He's sort of like a bit like Rory. You know?
I see him as quite a tall chap, to be honest.
Caught a stray bullet there, Rory.
I'd leave a bit on Rory there. I do love him. But he's come into the building, very humble guy. He's come from Croatia. But his ability on the ball, whenever he could receive, I see it immediately, you know, whenever tight areas he could receive the ball, control the tempo of games. Yeah. He had a bit of a difficult start, but we all did at that point, you know, under Ramos. So coming in and then he found his feet. Exceptional player, exceptional attitude, exceptional person as well. But he's outside of the boot, you know, he's an inspiration. That's what we're saying. Even when he won it, the way he plays the game. He is like an artist. It's just a beauty when he gets the ball. You know, the way he moves around a football pitch. Certainly see it and what he went on to do. But the way he can dictate the game, where he can receive the ball, and he's effortless in his approach. And like you said, he's got the statistics to sort of back up that, because he showcased that at Tottenham and obviously went on to Real Madrid to win what he did.
He's Real Madrid's most decorated.
That's right.
He's Real Madrid's most decorated player.
Didn't you win flop of the season or something the first season you went there as well? I swear there's a stat out there where he didn't get going that first season.
Well, it was sort of the first 6 months, and then he got going.
Yeah.
But just to give a bit of background into his personality, him and Luka, who joined the football club.
Yeah, Vedran Luka.
They grew up in a war-torn country at the time, part of the old, I think it was the Yugoslavia. So for 2 years, they tell me the stories about how growing up was. They grew up in a sports hall. So Luka and Modric were friends from 6-7 years old, from living in a sports hall, mattresses on the floor, for 2 years. And it's humbling, really, when I've got obviously shared the training field, shared the dressing room, and shared a few nights out with him. Croatian boys like that. But and it's just, what a beautiful thing that he's gone on to do what he's done.
Yeah.
And to play the game the way he plays it, very professional, but just a perfect model for a Ballon d'Or win. I think, sort of proud that you sort of played with him and knew him, and what a great guy, and he's still doing it now for AC Milan.
I know,
he's still doing it.
I know, it's unbelievable.
He sort of redefined the Premier League. You know, there was an era of the Premier League when all the midfield, maybe even not just the Premier League, sort of world football, midfielders were Yaya Toure, Michael Ballack, Frank Lampard, still like big
powerhouses.
And suddenly, it's not only Modric. Maybe David Silva deserves some credit here.
Yeah.
But suddenly, it became, you didn't need to be like this incredible athlete. You could dictate the tempo of the game, just with just by sort of using your body and being 2 yards ahead in your head.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's an unbelievable player. And for all those who are playing along, wondering who the second Ballon d'Or winner was, we were doing it before the show. Rory was trying to have a guess. Michael Owen through England, isn't it? And again, where were you at his stage of the career? Where you played alongside? It must have been towards the.
He was McLaren, under McLaren. It was. I first met him and first played with him in the England B game at Burnley, and it was the last England B game that they've ever. It was just sort of get the players in, and I played with him there, and then obviously went on to be in squads with him, sort of 7, 8, 9 times or whatever it was, and but I sort of met him later in his career. Obviously grew up watching him, and what an amazing player he was. When he broke onto the scene at Liverpool.
Well, yeah,
I think he's come out publicly and stated and talked a lot more openly.
Said he was the best 17-year-old that there's ever been.
Well, there was the debate. Where do you sit on that debate, David? You know the debate between Wayne Rooney as a teenager versus Michael Owen as a teenager?
Well, I was with Wayne Rooney on his development, he was a 15, 16-year-old, and he joined the under-18s England. So obviously I come through all the England development sort of systems, and then obviously I was with Rooney 20, I think he stayed for one game at the under-18s and went straight into the first team. Incredible. And to see Wayne, I mean, he's incredible. He was an animal. He was just a machine,
Yeah.
He would lift people in training. He's aggressive. He was unbelievable, technically gifted as well, which is one of his greatest assets of how technically gifted he was. But he had that attitude to take the game by the scruff of the neck. I mean, if Arsenal had him in their team, you'd see it totally. He'd get he'd go and give me the ball. I'm going to go and win us the league. I mean, that's what he had. Unbelievable mentality, and to see him at close hand. He used to come in my room playing FIFA and that. He was only 15, and I think I was 17. He's like, "Bence, come on!" And he used to come and sit. And I used to have to say, "Come on, we've got a meeting." No, we just finished.
There's one
He
for
used to
you.
love it, but what a player.
Who would you rather have in your squad, a 17-year-old Rooney or a 17-year-old Michael Owen?
Do you know it's an interesting thing? The comparison between the two players, I believe that Wayne Rooney is the greatest Premier League player of all time. Like, I just think he was an immense footballer.
Yeah.
Who's weirdly, like, at one point he was England's top goal scorer. He is Manchester United's top goal scorer. Doesn't seem to get the love and respect that he deserves.
No.
He's a true icon. But strictly on the debate that was being had recently, a better teenager,
Yes.
that's Owen.
Oh, so now I heard a Rooney shout.
I think Rooney. You think
Owen at 17.
I know he was a
Didn't
he was a beast.
He
was
win two
incredible.
golden boots. He won 2 golden boots as a
he did.
teenager.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Do you remember all that when he scored at St James's Park?
yeah,
a
I know.
homage to a villain in Liverpool.
Do you know? I'm a Man United fan, and I probably say at 17 in the early years, I'd probably say Michael Owen was a different animal. I'd probably have to talk towards him.
Okay, so the goal. So Rooney scored against Arsenal off the bar. Obviously, Arsenal and a great. I think that was the time around the invincible kind of squad time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And then obviously he's moved to Man United and scoring against Fenerbahce, his hat-trick
Straight away.
and then going on to be, in their early days, he just hit the ground running and
I think Rooney's a better footballer.
Dominated Man United Football Club. And dominated England.
I know. He's one of my favourite ever players.
Rooney's legacy, everything that you're saying, I completely agree with.
Yeah.
Rooney's legacy outweighs Owen.
Yeah.
But in the strict debate, better teenager.
Yeah, 17, 18.
Did Man United win the league when the year he joined?
Rooney.
I think we did.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was you.
Oh no, wait.
It wasn't Man United.
Was it Man
It
United?
was us. We won it 05.
Chelsea.
Is that the year he joined?
We won it 05. Lampard ran Jaskalainen at Reebok.
Yeah, it was
and
Chelsea.
the year after Chelsea won it.
We retained it. Yeah, Michael Essien in the team.
All right, because that could have been a deal breaker.
Oh, that was nearly it. He nearly got the point in there. If that
Why
landed.
didn't I do my research?
I just think, like 2 golden boots as a teenager.
Yeah, I think it's
See, with Owen, I think it's
Just as a teenager, not in terms of legacy. I see Michael Owen
and
as
he won
an
a
icon
Ballon
as
d'Or.
well.
He won a Ballon d'Or.
No, but what age did he win the Ballon d'Or?
No,
It was early though, wasn't it?
No, he weren't a teenager.
20s, 21.
He was an
No,
incredible
he won the Ballon d'Or when he was in what 01. He won it in 01, didn't he?
22.
So was he 22 for the Ballon
22?
d'Or?
Come on.
Yeah.
2001, yeah,
Teenager,
22.
though, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Yeah, technicalities.
It's what Rory just said there, how they're not held in higher esteem. Is that a sort of society sort of problem, really, that we do that to our players?
I don't get it.
How are they not? I mean, you mentioned Kane is pretty much, like an unbelievable. Is he having the same sort of not held in the regard that he should be?
Kane, if you hear other pros talk about Kane, like Rooney called him England's best ever striker.
Yes, we've got Kane, Rooney, and Owen. That are some of the greatest Premier League goal scorers, if not the best.
Yeah.
And they're not.
And people go average.
Yeah.
They're not in my best.
But people
team.
are crazy.
Is that because we just? Do we have an internal thing to not love our own?
I think nostalgia can be kind to you and it can be cruel to you.
It can be cruel.
I think it goes either way, and I don't think there's any rhyme or reason.
I think young people don't necessarily appreciate the true brilliance of what went before.
Yeah,
like
true.
and that's applicable to me when I was young, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But Wayne Rooney is one of the greatest footballers to have ever lived.
I agree with that.
In terms of every metric, he was a winner. He was physical, but techie.
Yeah.
Like that proper footballer.
I know.
Like Bergkamp footballer, Henry footballer. But that's Rooney.
And you could stick him into any squad and he'd do the exact same job. Yes.
He gave Cristiano Ronaldo the platform to shine, win a Ballon d'Or and go to Real
He
Madrid.
did.
It was Rooney's selflessness that made that dream a reality for Ronaldo.
Couldn't
and then
agree more.
Ronaldo's got some front to have a pop at Rooney on a podcast.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
But for Rooney, and it's not only about your technical ability and what you've got, and we just discussed it about Arsenal. He's gone into Man United at the time one of the greatest managers, Alex Ferguson, a hard manager. It's the biggest club in the world. The demands, we're talking about it a lot, how the demands of playing for Man United Football Club is greater than the other thing. You don't realise how big the club is. That was the same. It was the same now as it was when Rooney joined that football
100%.
club. So as an 18-year-old to go into that environment, he's got strong men around him in the dressing room. You've got your likes of Roy Keane and Rio, and you've got men. It's not like that. He's gone in there
and thrived.
But only thrived, taken it by the scruff of the neck.
He's gone in there and said to the likes of Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, like true icons of the game, play it earlier.
I think I've turned you over, and do you confer? Rooney's better than Owen.
Nearly.
All right, okay.
But 2 compelling arguments, I have to say, and both amazing world-class players. Owen, I mean, he's been doing the rounds, been doing a few podcasts as well, and he talks about injuries.
Yeah.
And he talks about, it's really fascinating, where he talks about how his head wanted to do something, but his body couldn't quite get there. And obviously, we know about Owen in the latter stages of career. Hung his boots up relatively early. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I've got David Bentley to my left here, to ask, you must have resonated with that part of Owen's story, with the way that you left the game.
Yeah, I have. I mean, yeah, it's difficult for me because I'm going to I'll probably open up now and talk about and give the honest opinion of when I retired and how I retired and what I did. Yeah, it was, I played my last game at 28 years old, and obviously retired at 29. But I've gone on and said, there was quotes that I went out and said I fell out of love with football, and I was heartbroken at the time that I made that decision. Absolutely ripped the heart out of me. As a young kid, I've got to get emotional talking about it, but as a young kid, all I ever wanted to be was a footballer. From 3 years old, I remember it had a little yellow ball up against the wall every single day. It was just a machine. And at 6 years old, it's my earliest memory, seeing Gaza at the World Cup. 6 years old inspired me to be a footballer. All I wanted to be was a footballer. Every day of my life, I dedicated to being a footballer. And I'll give you the long sort of element of it. And to go in, battle and do everything that you've got to do to be a footballer. Obviously, the privilege of being at Arsenal's youth development, which is at the time was probably one of the greatest youth systems that ever, to have Don Howe, Liam Brady. I owe him so much. I had a young coach called Andy McDermott. It was such a privilege. I got to travel the world with football. The opportunities it gave me, not only financial to obviously look after my own family, but also what it gave me. I loved every minute of it. I didn't have a very privileged upbringing. Obviously not a lot of money within my family. So football was my sort of way, it was inspiring to sort of be a footballer. Going on to obviously play for Arsenal. And my personality is what it is. Everybody kind of sees what it is. I live each day as if it's my last. I enjoy every minute. I always, even doing what we're doing now, humbled like, the opportunity to be able to do that. A kid coming from where he was from, and then the opportunity every day. And I had that with football. Yeah. And then going on to be part of Arsenal, be part of the Invincibles, be part of obviously going up to Blackburn and 15th in the table, and spending 2 or 3 years with them in Europe, getting them, and then coming back to Tottenham, qualifying for the Champions League. It was an incredible journey. I loved every minute of it. I love football so much. And then after we qualified for the Champions League, and we did, that's why I signed for Tottenham, get us in the Champions League. So to accomplish that as part of the team, things didn't work out for me, and I sort of probably took a lot of bad loans. I went to Birmingham, didn't work out, got involved in a relegation battle, wasn't the best move for me. Yeah. I went to West Ham, found a really good place there, and I did my knee and spent a whole year out. Truth be known, I come back from that injury, I wasn't the same. It was the condyle defect in your knee. It was like the Ledley, Paul McGrath, that kind of injury. So I come back, and it was devastating to know at that point I'm not the same player. And I think Owen probably had the same thing. And then I went over to Russia to try to be. I was the first English player to play there. That was quite exciting. It was a different environment. I could solely focus on football. That didn't quite work out. And then the last resort was going back to Blackburn, where I had a really happy place, but then went into the new ownership was there. Manager got sacked after 3 weeks. And I remember my last game, just crying my eyes out. I remember it at Cardiff. Wow. I come in, my dad was in the car. All that story, you spend your whole life, I'm getting emotional now, but he's every day just loving football. I loved not only playing, but just being in and around sort of everything. And I got in the car, said, that's my last game. It was really, really tough. It was heartbreaking because it just wasn't. It felt like through all that process that the game had left me, and I had left the game mentally and in my heart. And the reason why, like even talking about it now, so I've gone on so many shows since. And I always give the impression, it doesn't matter to me, because it's a wall that I build up. Maybe as a man, I didn't want to admit that I was, I was broken by it. I sort of went, no, I'm fine. I live down in Marbella, I'm fine. I got all the businesses, I'm all good. But in my own head, it's been inside me for a long time, and I've got children now, and you want to be honest to them. I'm always telling them, tell the truth, get it out. And obviously, I'm working with, obviously, you don't know this, but I'm working with a charity called Say It Lad, which is a voice note thing for young men. And there is a bit of an epidemic. I'm seeing it quite a lot. Recently with Ricky Hatton, there was the young guy, or the young women's manager. He's, I think everyone should open up, and young men should. And then you feel like you've got a platform to say that. So it's something that, obviously, we're family now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Look, so it's something that I wanted to be honest about, that it did break my heart, when the game left me, and it was the game that I dedicated from 3 years old, inspired by Gaza, and I had to
give up the thing you love.
Give up the thing I love and move on to something else. But that love, now, the reason why I didn't watch football for 5 years, I just literally left the game, moved down to Spain, and I got interest that took my mind away. I know other people don't have them privileges,
And you didn't watch football because, would you think that's because it hurt too much?
I told everyone that I'm not interested. It hurts so much. Now, I've got a son, he's 11, 12 years old, and he absolutely loves football. Like, he's obsessed. And he's very similar to me. Don't listen to anyone, does his own thing. He wanted to join his football club. So for the past sort of 3 years, he has just ignited that flame back in me. Grassroots football, you're looking at the coaches, the dedication that they give, the parents, how much they love it, the WhatsApp groups, the videos. Just beautiful people that are loving the game. It's like a religion, this game, and how much it inspires a generation. It inspires children, it inspires people, it inspires debate. It's a beautiful thing, and to be part of that, I wanted to be honest, like what it meant to me, and to get that love back through my own child. It's an amazing thing that I can now. I don't. My missus is like, all you do is watch football. You watch anything else? I'm like, yeah, but it's just. But it's in my heart. It'd be like I don't know, you love your life, you marry him, and obviously people can relate to it, they get divorced, and you're like, I don't know how. No, it's devastating. And that's that honesty. And I look around and I feel like I need to say that about, when I go on about showman or artistry and caring for players. And we just talked about Rooney and Owen and Kane being appreciated. And now we've got Grealish, Rashford, you've got Sterling sat doing nothing in the background. It's, we should value and protect that. And I do want to do that moving forward. And that's why, just to be honest and not put on, my personality is what it is, and we've all got it, but the love of the game, I've got, it was very difficult to live with that for a period, but devastating that
why did you know? You said when you got back in the car with your father at Cardiff, how did you know it was your last game?
I just didn't have. I think it was a continuation of so many things that had happened. The journey that had happened from that Champions League high to the Birmingham, Blackburn, Russia, West Ham.
But you were only 28 years old.
Spending a year out with my knee was difficult. Difficult for me personality-wise. But it's tough, that's life. People have more difficult things than that. But when I come back, my knee weren't the same. I weren't pushing off. I wasn't the fastest player. I think Owen might have had that. He had the injury. He just weren't the same. He had to adapt his game.
Yeah, he ended up playing midfield at Stoke.
It was his hamstrings, I think.
So mine was always, I could always get half a yard quicker than most players. I could always move it and be quick on the ball. But my left knee played a major role in that. I don't know whether that was so much impact on my left because on my right leg dominating.
Yeah.
And I used to have funny technique. I didn't know whether, and but yeah, it was gutting. It was and so many. The thing is with football, the amount of opportunities it gives, the amount of doors. And you think it's a worldwide love game. It is a beautiful game that brings nations together, doesn't it? It brings us all together, and to be a part of that, what it gave me. You feel like you want to give something back because you look back. I've got a bit older. I'm 41. I know I look sort of 28. There you go. There's the humour to protect myself. Yeah, he's back. He's gone in. But it's
that's an art that is coming in and out.
It is,
like
isn't it? It is coming in and out of that. Yeah, but I'd be a good actor, wouldn't I?
You would.
But
no, do you know what I have to say? Well, first of all, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You're getting. I could see you were getting emotional.
I've never discussed that. I've been on so many podcasts. There's so many, doing we're here,
No.
and that is my personality. I never change that. That is who I am. But the truth about that, there's too much out there, and it followed me like a big weight round my neck, and it's off my chest now. Look,
well, that's
I feel
great.
better.
Do you know what?
Better. I feel liberated.
You've got to talk about it.
Yeah, you've got to talk about it.
You do.
I think it's a beautiful thing what you said there, that you can this thing that you've loved for so long, football, hurt you to a degree because you had to leave it early and you couldn't face football for a while, and then your son made you fall back in love with that.
Dalton Bobby Bentley. What a name.
Dalton Bobby Bentley.
Bit like yours.
Yeah.
I can't remember that.
Ryan Scott-Dogulas.
Ryan Scott-Dogulas.
It's my own fault. It's my own fault.
Beautiful man like you.
But honestly, Bence, I'll say it again. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I know that must take a lot to get that off your chest and talk about that. So we're appreciative of it, me and Rory, and I'm sure all the listeners and watchers as well. Let's talk about that thing that you love. Let's get back onto football.
Sorry about that. I brought the tongue down there, didn't I?
There we go. We know we can bring it back up. That's the thing. So we're all right there. We're in no danger. Quickly touch on the Europa League. Rory. This competition, especially, you know what? I'm going to go one further. The Conference League. Obviously, Chelsea won it last year, but nobody's talking about it. And there's been things like even with the EFL Cup and little cups here in the Europa League. Are these obstacles? Are these hurdles? Are these distractions from the bigger picture, which is the Premier League? How much do people care about something like the Europa League, for example? Do you think it's still relevant?
I think it's been massively diluted. Right. I think, say, if you think back over the years to when Manchester United won it in Sweden when they beat Ajax, big win. When we won it, we won it in Amsterdam, like brilliant moment. Branislav Ivanovic in the last minute, huge. We beat Arsenal in Baku. They were big. What's happened to the Europa League, though, and I think it is important to talk about, is frankly, Tottenham won it, and I will never sneer at silverware. What they did, beating Manchester United in a final, is huge. But the tournament itself has been massively diluted with 5 Premier League teams going into the Champions League. So that's a team that would have been in the Europa League, now not.
Yeah.
And you don't have the Champions League teams dropping into it anymore.
Right.
Like I saw a list of the quarterfinals of the Europa League the previous year, and it was huge. Like Liverpool were in it. And then the following year, it's really uninspiring.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the Conference League. Look, I was glad that we won it. And for certain clubs, it is a big trophy. But I'll be totally frank with you. I didn't know a team that we'd played. I'd literally never heard of them. If you're playing a team along the way to win a trophy, like, had either of you heard of Noah?
No.
Yeah, but I think the conference is a little bit less.
Yeah, the conference, I just don't think that you can take it as a serious trophy if you support a Premier League team.
Yeah.
If you support a Premier League team. The Europa just about gets away with it.
Yeah.
Just about. But if you think about the money that is sloshing around the Premier League, and I don't say this with fondness.
No.
But you think about the teams that you're going to come up against in the Europa League. Like, they just can't compete with the power of the
think what it
Premier
did for Tottenham last year, you see what it did. You see the parade. You see the engagement from the players to the fans. I think to say that it doesn't mean...
I think for you guys it was different, though, because you'd gone so long without a trophy and then you get this European one.
But that is
any old cup by that point.
Oh, don't start there. Here we go. Look.
Any old cup. By that point, just any old cup. Doesn't matter, does it?
There's privilege on that side of the table. I'll tell you. But I hear you with that, but I'll add a bit of context to what Rory's saying.
But that is the competition, yeah.
But yeah. So for this as of right now, Villa are the favourites to win the Europa League, and they scored their first Premier League goal 5 match days in on the weekend.
You had Manchester United and Tottenham were two woeful teams in their most woeful Premier League season. They both made it to a final of a competition.
15th and 17th.
What does that say about
Tottenham
the
are just figuring themselves out, saving themselves in the Europa League. Don't start.
Do you know what? Look, I was born in an era where Chelsea went 25 years without a trophy, so I don't ever want to be really sneery towards silverware.
No.
And winning the Europa League, one of the best nights of my life was winning the Europa League, genuinely, in Amsterdam. Yeah. But it has changed because the Champions League now takes more teams. It's diluted the other competition.
Yeah. From a media perspective, it potentially is not. When you look at the Champions League and what goes into that and the showpiece, all the best players. But if you go to the fans, like the away fans, they're travelling, within Europe to play games. You're playing on a different level. You got sort of players that you might not know that emerge within that Europa sort of league. You got opportunity of sort of rotating the squad and giving young players a chance, sort of early doors.
Yeah.
I think from the fans' perspective, I think the Europa League sits correctly where it is. It gives other teams an opportunity and the fans to enjoy sort of European football.
Yeah.
I think the Conference League, I do agree, obviously Chelsea, it doesn't matter, does it?
well, we played, no disrespect, but we played Shamrock Rovers along the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree there. But I just thought I'd chuck it out there because I've just seen some conversation about the Europa League. So yeah, good perspective that though. I think it does. Now that the Champions League teams don't fall into the Europa League, it does give other teams opportunities to get some European silverware. So let us know in the comments. I'm sure you will about what you think about that. Now here we are. We've arrived back at the Premier League preview for the weekend, where we will build our studs up ACCA.
I'll just extend my lead. Thank you.
Well, this is it.
Come on, bro. Rory,
I'm on it.
He's on it now.
Messiah. You're the Messiah.
I am the Messiah. That's
He's
exactly
the
what I am.
Piers Morgan of talkSPORT. The Messiah.
Right,
come on, you've got. If I beat you,
no, you won't.
No.
What? 3-point lead.
You're winning at the moment.
Okay. I'm on top.
You've gone 1-0 up after a couple of minutes. Long way to go.
Singing and dancing at the top of the table.
We're going to the international break, so there's only a couple of game weeks left, by the way, and then we'll reset. So that's when a forfeit will come in for whoever's bottom. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying listening to this show and watching this show wherever you may be. We've got a special offer for you that I want to talk to you about. It's talkSPORT Bet, of course, specifically for you guys that are watching and listening. Bet 10 and get £40 in free bets. This is an amazing offer ahead of the big Premier League weekend. All you got to do is go to www.talksportbet.com/studs up and cash in on it. Why wouldn't you? Claim that offer now. Right, so the first fixture that we're going to discuss is Saturday the 27th of September, Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. And it is Bent's that's been allocated this. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm really happy I don't have this one. I'm really happy I don't. Because,
what makes you say that?
Because Palace are... they're one of the sides that are really impressing me in the Premier League so far.
Very strong.
And Liverpool away from home. Liverpool have been good, don't get me wrong, and they've been getting the points on the board, but it's been marginal wins.
But Oliver Glasner's the governor.
Yeah, and Oliver Glasner's I'd have him at Man United.
He is a good manager. He's very good.
Of course.
I'll have him at Chelsea.
We'll have a long list.
I understand what you're saying about Palace there, but I think, obviously, Liverpool are strong. Isak, I think, will come into the team this week.
Ekatike, of course.
Ekatike's
banned.
out.
I don't know.
What a nightmare.
What a nightmare.
I mean, what's the ref done?
Stupid rule, anyway. Just ban it. Just get rid of that rule.
But also, don't take your shirt off if that is the rule.
I think that is.
It's all very well moaning about the rule, and you're right. It is a dumb rule.
No, wonder if you get your bangers out.
But you know the rule.
Also, you can't do the Messi thing, can you? In that
was
kind of
weird.
circumstance.
Yeah, that was weird.
He did that against Real Madrid, winning the league.
Yeah,
and the Ballon d'Or the same season. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm with you there.
But Isak coming into the team. I think Liverpool, they've not been playing well. They've got that winning mentality. They're going to ignite. I do believe they'll go to Sellers. They do well at Sellers Park as well. There's been a couple of results.
Oh, he's done his research.
Look at it.
Research.
I'm taking a little leaf out of Rory's book. Don't worry, son. I'm coming with my research. And I think Palace, even though very good team, very strong team, got some very good players. They have lost Eze. They've lost a bit. I think Liverpool will go there we were talking about earlier about Arsenal not taking it by the scruff of the neck and really going for it. I think Liverpool have that in abundance. They'll just attack Crystal Palace, won't be able to live with them. I think it'll be potentially 1-1 at half-time.
Yeah.
And Liverpool will just go and turn the screw, win 3-1. Thanks very much. Salah, Bosch, get in there. Top of the table. Rory's bottom of the league.
I'll get 3 points this week. Yeah. Guarantee it.
Okay. Well, we'll go on to Rory's in a second. Just sticking with this fixture for a second. Is there enough being said about Wirtz, do we think? Because the amount of money, 116 million come in, it obviously needs a bit of time, of course. We can all appreciate it's only 5-6 match days in, but he doesn't look like he's got going, and there's not been any real signs that there's. I mean, there was Wirtz Bruno comparisons, which I laughed at.
Well, I just think he's a class act who will flourish this season.
Yeah.
He's an unbelievable. He's got the Modric feel and movement and touch for the ball. Once Liverpool, a player like that, a player who plays that role within the team they're harder to accommodate.
Yeah.
Because everything has to be pushed through them and the players have to get used to him being in the team.
Yeah.
But the way the guy performs and the way he plays football, he'll be in that. Once he finds his feet, settles in. What an incredible player. And it's going to come, obviously, against Palace, 3-1.
Yeah, well, and I hope it doesn't. So what we'll do then, Rory, let's move on to you. And poetically, Bence, he's got Newcastle versus Arsenal after going two-footed on Arteta. Have you got a score prediction in mind? Have you got how you think the game might go? And what are you going to go for in the STUDS Alpaca?
I think Newcastle United win the game 1-0.
Oh, he's doubling down.
I really do. I've been so unimpressed by Arsenal. In fact, it's unfair to say that. I haven't been unimpressed by Arsenal. Not the players, not the institution, not the fans. I just think the manager is getting it massively wrong. And we saw him make a mistake at Anfield.
Yeah.
And then he had an opportunity to put it right against Man City. Tactics wrong. Personnel wrong. Team selection wrong. It was all wrong.
Yeah.
So I've seen nothing to suggest that he is going to learn from the previous mistakes. They didn't look particularly convincing in the League Cup. And they go into a ground where they have struggled. Everything that Newcastle are good at isn't what Arteta wants to face.
Yeah.
It's been a tricky ground for them.
Yeah.
Like, remember last year, they played him in the League Cup. They got battered home and away by Newcastle.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe's a good manager.
He had the antidote, didn't he?
He did.
He
did. Having Alexander Isak obviously helped, but he did have the antidote.
Yeah. But you don't think Arsenal get on a score sheet?
No, I think... The only way that you can beat Arsenal, really, is to somehow keep them out, because it's so difficult to score against them. You're probably not going to score more than one.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to be resolute, and you're going to have to kind of make it as difficult a game of football as possible.
Yeah.
But the intensity that Eddie Howe likes his team to play with, they're capable of doing it. And I have seen a vulnerability to this Arsenal team, and it wouldn't surprise me if it finishes 1-0 to Newcastle United. That's what I'm going with.
Okay. I'm going to double check, but I believe that'll probably be the team that's the outsider. So you'd get 2 points for that, by the way. If Arsenal
keep changing rules. You keep back in the favourites.
Obviously, the closer we get to kick off, the odds will change. But I'd probably make Arsenal favourites for that. So could be a big 2-pointer for old Rory. And I've been given your mob, Rory. I've been given Chelsea versus Brighton.
Don't fancy your task. What are you going to pick here?
Well, I know. I had a feeling that you'd feel like that, to be honest with you. Obviously, it was a marginal victory against Lincoln. It was interesting, but you didn't have nearly the amount of people that are going to start that game against Brighton. You're at home.
Which doesn't necessarily. You think about the performances at home, Palace, Fulham.
Yeah,
like we got very lucky against both. In fact,
yeah, I do have this thing, right, where I just think Chelsea fans just get really pessimistic really quickly though about the squad.
Yeah, we are quite reactionary. I do give you that.
I don't think it's as bad as Chelsea fans are making out at the moment, because I mean there's divides in the fan base. There's pockets of the fan base that say I'm not sure about the manager. I think the whole fan base doesn't want a keeper. Who will start, by the way, I think, because I think that ban is only for the Cup. I read this morning, so he should start this game as well.
I've seen something off the back of what I've seen. I've suddenly realised, terrifyingly, that Robert Sanchez is actually the best goalkeeper at the club. That's the worst thing. We used to console ourselves by just play one of the other keepers.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that, because you now know that Robert Sanchez is actually better than them.
He's the man.
He's got a little bit of David James. David James had a little bit.
He's got the calamity part.
It comes rushing out the box.
He's got that calamity
rush of blood. He does. He does. And he's back in the squad. So what was he thinking? I've got this prompt in front of me. What was he thinking with Mbeumo? I don't know. I think he was done by a nice piece of skill, but he should never have been. He got caught in no man's land, I think, at one point. He didn't know whether he was going to go back to his line or commit to the challenge. Found himself in between. Didn't get to the ball.
He just makes rash decisions. He doesn't set that sort of dominance.
Just a bad key. But then you got to think about Maresca. There was a comment from Maresca off the back of this, and when you're doing your prediction, I'd really weigh this up. Maresca said something, and off the back of that, I was like, okay, you're not a manager.
Yeah.
He basically said, as soon as the man was sent off, it was over. It's 4 minutes into the game.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, you need to manage your way out of this problem.
He didn't look like he panicked with the subs, didn't he?
I'm not joking. You know, when I was fairly young, we played against West Ham, and we were 1-0 down. And do you remember Manish? We had a player called Manish, a Portuguese lad who was on loan. Mm-hmm. He got sent off. So we're 1-0 down, and we're a man down. Mourinho did a little bit, win the game 4-1.
Right, okay.
That's what you do. You don't go, we've gone down to 10 men. That's a shame.
Game
over. 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it was weird because Cole Palmer was in his first port of call to take off, but then Cole Palmer comes off in a second substitution window.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so
that is an amazing decision he's made there.
I know.
Whether it's his groin injury.
Esteval, Palmer, Neto. You know the players that you would say you need them on if you're playing.
Especially when Man United go down to 10 and they're all off now. And
well, any Man United fan in that stadium is then, presumably you, right? You'll empathise with what I'm about to say here, Ryan. You're watching that game, and when Casemiro gets sent off just before half-time, you went, thank God Cole Palmer's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Man United, anything can happen. But that is exactly. As soon as he came off, I thought, wow, it feels like he's thrown in the towel here. So I do agree with that.
I think a manager's greatest asset as well is being able to predict the future sort of developments of a game. Yeah. He can kind of see the patterns of play. You know, they analyse so many videos now. Yeah. They can see patterns like developing all over the pitch, and it'd be interesting to see whether the statistics of when you get an early red card like that, how many games is followed by where the ref gets a bit itchy with his cards to sort of level it up.
Yeah.
It'd be quite a good stat how many in the past, within the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, how many times a referee actually levels the game up.
Yeah.
So you look at things like he has made rash decisions. There's another. Man United went full at him, didn't they? Yeah. And Chelsea couldn't soak it up, but he made some strange decisions.
The one positive I took from the Man United performance as a sidebar here is we wouldn't have gone for the throat like that last season. We just wouldn't have. It wouldn't have made a difference. So, I mean, we should be winning that game, but the fact that we did is...
Just on Amorim.
Oh, go on.
Just on Amorim, because last week we had and I agreed we had our assessments on him doing some strange managerial sort of decisions and his training methods and so on. But he was at a lower division team, and he some of the stories that have come out of there. He had a young player or an important player within the team, and it was a third division club in Portugal. This player was, I think he was doing evening shifts at McDonald's and stuff like that, and doing. He had an opportunity of his kids being taken off him, lose his house. Amorim, as a manager, took it quietly, didn't tell anyone, and paid for his rent. Pretty much saved his life.
Nice.
So you're looking at that and you're going, and I think he went in. Yeah, good.
That's a lovely story. I don't want to spin this.
Here he comes.
It's an incredibly charming story. It's a good man story.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when we analyse the man, we can look at it through that lens, and we can acknowledge that is an incredibly loving, kind, generous thing to do.
Yeah.
But don't make him a good football manager.
No, it doesn't make it. I'm saying.
But you're backing the man. You like the man.
I like the man. Whenever I talk about football, I'm never ever making it a personal thing.
No.
Unless I call him a coward. Yeah. But
he's ruthless. He's ruthless.
No,
he was a bit of a joker as well in the changing room.
Yeah.
He used to do impressions and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
So you
could do an impression of a good manager.
Yeah, an impression of Alex Ferguson. Yeah, he's definitely getting it wrong at United. But if you're talking about time and his principles, because I think I was worried, is he looking like he just wants to get the sack?
Yeah.
He looked like that. Yeah. And I was sort of looking at it going, am I making the right judgment on this guy? And then some of his back stories and some of what people have said about him, what he's done in the past, actually, from a character point of view...
So you want him to succeed now?
He's got the principles of a good man, and you want to see a good man succeed. But what Rory says there, you're correct. He's not doing a good job as a manager of Man United at the minute because he's not getting the results. But if he can get that right and people buy into that...
Yeah, well...
Do you know when he told that story, do you know what I just started thinking of there?
Go on.
Do you know that thing from The In-Betweeners where he goes, that's very sad. Not really relevant.
Not really relevant, though.
I think somebody said I sounded like Jay from In Betweeners the other day.
They did. Yeah, and last week's...
like that? He's read that one, hasn't he?
No, I never.
Hey.
No, I never.
A cross between Ryland Clark and Danny Dyer.
And far more Ryland.
And talks like
80% Ryland on that mixture.
Steady away.
Right, we went left there, by the way. I still haven't given my prediction.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea-Brighton. If I didn't go for a draw last week, I'd have went for a draw this week, put it that way. But I just don't have the balls to do that. So I'm going to say Chelsea beat Brighton at home. Score prediction, I'm going to give it a 2-1. There you go. So that's what I'm going to go for. I think you're going to get the job done. And I have to say as well, if you want to back that Studs Up ACCA, it's going to be live and on the app and on site as well. We've got a Newcastle... no, we haven't. Yes, we have. We've got a Newcastle win. We've got a Liverpool win. And we've got a Chelsea win as well. So all wins. And it's been boosted, that treble, to 12-1. So you can have a look at that go on there. It's down as the Studs Up ACCA. And unfortunately, boys, with all that chat that we've had, I've got to say... Time's up. That's it. That is the end of episode 2.
I loved it.
Let's do another hour.
Do you know what? We need to come prepared next week. We were supposed to do it this week, but forget it. We'll do it next week with our forfeits. What the forfeit will be for the loser.
Well.
Uh-oh.
Is it got it already? Look.
You haven't got it
how
already.
organised it is.
I'm obviously partaking in the charity match on the 18th of October against Jody Morris.
Go on, Jody. Smash him up.
Aye.
Chelsea Tottenham, isn't it? There's only one winner.
So... I think the forfeit, Rory's like, he's trying to get out the door now. I reckon the forfeit, whoever's down the bottom's got to get in sparring with me.
My gosh.
Kevin Mitchell's gym, Hornchurch. Yes. Nice old school gym. Get in. Have a little like.
I'm not robust enough.
You only have to do
spar
1,
in
2
Kevin
minutes.
Mitchell's gym.
Yeah, I think that. What do you reckon?
We'll talk.
Yeah.
He's up for it.
He's up for it if it's me. We'll see how the results go next week. Yes, as I say, you get the Studs Up back at 18+gambleaware.org, of course. But that is the end of Studs Up episode 2. Thank you very much to Bence. Thank you very much to Rory. And thank you guys for listening and watching. And we'll be back next week with episode 3. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.